7:11 p.m. and I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Burke. Trustee Hayes.
Present.
Trustee Perkins.
Here.
Trustee Scholar.
Here.
Trustee Schaufelhauser.
Here.
Trustee Van Ryn.
Trustee Van Ryn, can you hear? All right, for purposes of the record, it should be noted that trustees Burke and Van Ryn are attempting to enter the meeting electronically, but technical difficulties are presenting so. And that's
Can
just...
you hear me now, Tim?
Yeah,
Sorry, here.
thank you.
Thank you. Senator Richardson.
Yes, thank you, here. Would you all rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, agenda item 4 this evening is approval of minutes from our meeting last month.
And that is Trustee Burke and Trustee.
Wonderful. And Trustee Burke, is that you joining the meeting?
I am here.
Okay, I'll ask the clerk to record your presence. Agenda item 4A, approval of minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting from June 13th, 2022. Are there questions, edits, or comments for the clerk on her characteristically well-drafted minutes? There being none, Chair would like a motion to approve agenda item 4A, minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting 13 June 2022. May I have that motion?
So moved.
Thank you. By Trustee Scheller, may I please have a second?
Second.
By Trustee Perkins, thank you. Roll. Clerk, will please call the roll.
Trustee Scholar.
Yes.
Trustee Perkins.
Yes.
Trustee Burke.
Yes.
Trustee Hayes.
Yes.
Trustee Schaufelhauser.
Yes.
Trustee Van Ryn.
Yes.
President Richardson.
Yes. And congratulations, Karen, on the 8th. Yes. Motion carries. Chair will ask unanimously that the record remain open for a period of 5 business days for any necessary technical and formal amendments to the minutes without objections to order. Agenda item 5 is the President's remarks. We have 2 proclamations tonight. Both are really good ones. We got a lot of good ones usually, but tonight I take special attention. I was dining at the Onion Pub the first day it was in business. Remember, like yesterday, the only thing that shocked me was not their fabulous success or the great outcome they created for their community, but that 25 years ago, so unfairness. That's the hard part. We have family members here today to talk a little bit with us. What we're going to do is we have a resolution, a proclamation, excuse me. I'll read it, and then we'll call the question. I'm confident you have votes. And then we'll call you to the podium and we'll call some of the journey for us who are on camera, so that way residents who haven't lived here for 25 years will get a sense of that at a later time. I mean, 25 years ago, Jim Thompson was a sophomore at the University of Georgia. So, okay, whereas Wild Onion Brewery, one of Chicagoland's first craft breweries, is celebrating a quarter century of brewing beer in the village of Lake Barrington. Whereas Mike, Pat, and John Keynes converted a warehouse in Lake Barrington into the Wild Onion's first brewery in 1997 and began hand-bottling beers. Whereas Wild Onion's first batch of beer was brewed in used dairy tanks, paying homage to Joe Keynes, the family patriarch and CEO of the brewery, as he had grown up working in the dairy business that his grandfather started in Chicago in the early 1900s. Whereas the Keynes family purchased the former Pepper Lake Trout Farm restaurant and lounge in 2000 and converted it into an English-style pub in 2003, which is the existing Wild Onion Brewery. Whereas Wild Onion Brewery continues to expand with a new 50-barrel brew house housed in a 5,000 square foot addition along with its existing 17-barrel brewery, pub, and banquet hall. Whereas Wild Onion beers are now distributed throughout the Chicagoland area along with 5 other states throughout the Midwest. Whereas the mayor and the board of trustees of the village of Lake Barrington desire to acknowledge Wild Onion Brewery as a beloved fixture of the Lake Barrington community and congratulate the Caines family on this accomplishment. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the mayor and the board of trustees of the village of Lake Barrington, Lake County, Illinois, that the village of Lake Barrington expresses its deep appreciation to the Caines family and Wild Onion Brewery for its 25 years of service to our community. Before I call the question for the vote, I'd like to go around and always ask the trustees to offer any comments they have. I will start on my left, and then we'll ask Trustee Van Ryn and Trustee Burke, who are on the phone, to speak last. Trustee Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. President. Congratulations on your 25 years, quite a milestone. I moved here in 2016, and it was the first restaurant that I tried here, and just had a wonderful time. Every opportunity I've entertained clients personally, it's just a wonderful place to be. So congratulations, and 25 more years.
Talking about IT again. Thank you. Trustee Shaw.
Thank you, President Richardson. Well, I can even recall the Pepper Lake Trout Farm restaurant. Small little building that overlooked the pond that had a fuselage of a United Airlines plane, I think. And then when they converted that or built the building, the Onion Club, I was almost astounded at how beautiful and wonderful that facility and building was from the very, very beginning. It's constructed with the highest quality, and I can recall also going downstairs and taking a look at when you guys made beer. It's a wonderful part of the village of Lake Barrington, and we're so appreciative of the fact that over the years you've not only operated it well, it's grown, it's become well known in the entire area, and of course the brewery itself is well known throughout the Chicagoland area. So we are very grateful to the family for making the Onion Club what it is today, and only wish them the very, very best moving forward.
Thank you. Trustee Perkins.
Thank you, President
Close to
Richardson.
the microphone. I'm told to is
Okay. Ditto, okay. So we moved here 10 years ago, and your pub and restaurant has supplied so much food and entertainment and beverages to friends from near and far, family. We've been to weddings there, we've been to showers there. My birthday party with all my girlfriends was there in the back room, private party in the back room with my girlfriends this past January. We have just, and it's not Wild Onion Brewery in my house, it's the Onion Pub. My daughter, since my daughter was 2 when we moved here, and so it was the Onion. We go to the Onion night, and so we would, it's just always been the Onion Pub. But thank you so much for supplying our community with such an amazing restaurant and pub. It has been fantastic. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Trustee Hicks.
Well, congratulations, 25 years in the restaurant business. That's hard work. And it's a lot of dedication to get that done. I'm relatively new. I've been to the restaurant a handful of times. I agree with everybody. I very much enjoy it. My family likes the menu. They're awesome. So, but no, congratulations. That's a lot. That's a big testament to last that long in the restaurant business. And the only one downside, it's always packed. So you got to get there early. So, no, congratulations.
Trustee Van Ryn, are you able to still hear us?
I do hear you.
I'm happy to yield to you for comments on the Onion Pub and its long history in Lake Barrington.
Yes, thrilled to honor you this evening. Wish I could be there in person. my most sincere congratulations to 25 great years, and here's to many more to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Brooke, are you able to hear us? He was having trouble, he's dialing in from out of the country, so. Okay, I know I speak for him and offering good wishes to commensurate with our colleagues is it. Years ago, not long after, I think it was about 2004, I traveled all the time for business. I ran into your mom and dad at O'Hare at the United Airlines desk. Literally at the United Airlines desk. I was going to New York and they were doing something called palm trees. And I asked, I said, even trick. It's a good judgment continued that day, right? You know, there's a lot of folks who get tempted into changing when they have done something so spectacular as build a couple of successful businesses. And I think the quality I remember of your day was how authentic you remained. I didn't know your mom particularly well, but I knew your dad awfully well. He never changed. And it was one of those, if we had a handshake, we had an agreement. And, you know, I'm a recovery attorney, so I kind of believe in the old-fashioned handshake kind of thing. My dad and my grandpa were that way, and I always appreciated that he would tell me what he thought. Sometimes, most times we agree, then occasionally we might think differently, but I never had to play games and wonder, does he mean what he says? The legacy of the business is no surprise. It's the symptomatic expression of a fundamental trait, which is integrity. In too short supply today, I'm afraid, in many venues. But here, we want to honor this commitment that's represented to the community, especially during COVID, especially during COVID. So I am going to call this question now. Why don't you come up to the podium? And we all know Mike not only from that, but from his service in public service, as well as he was township supervisor. So Chair would like a motion to approve the resolution, the proclamation as previously read. May I have that motion, please?
So moved.
By Trustee Perkins again, is that the second?
Second.
By Trustee Shallow, thank you both, and I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee Schaller?
Yes.
Trustee Burke?
Yes.
Trustee Hayes?
Yes.
Trustee Schalmoser?
Yes.
Trustee Van Ryn?
Yes.
President Richardson?
Yes. And yes, that the IT went. So let me lead a round of applause first. And we'd love to hear the history from your eyes and ears.
Well, certainly, President Richardson, members of the board, this is a true honor, and you're trying to make me emotional, it's working. So, really appreciate those kind words. You know, I very well remember standing in front of this room, in front of the board 5 years ago. President Schofield was the president then, and pitching this crazy idea of opening up an English-style pub, a gathering place. This was long before the version that we have now. And they actually bought up on the idea. And they said, you know what, this sounds kind of cool. And thinking back to that moment in time, I just realized how much support we've always received from these voters from that moment. And that was back when we used a little tiny scheme of having the original building there, which was, I think, about 50 seat restaurant. And we were going to convert that. We had some investors lined up. And as fate had it, my dad got lucky. So we were able to do it on a different level. And that was really exciting for us. To be able to take an idea, sell our beer, move down the road, and be able to take that idea and build a really beautiful place. So I really appreciate you paying attention to what that structure is. Just so you know, those timbers are from trees that were on the forest floor of the Pacific Northwest. So they're deadfall, it was harvested. So those trees were growing before the American Revolution. So the next time you're there, you sit there and look up and you just have a sense of history. We were trying to honor that. And in our name, Wild Onion, I apologize for the confusion. It started as Wild Onion, we morphed into Onion, but Wild Onion is the Potawatomi word for wild onion, pronounced phonetically as Chickasaw. So it's land of the stinking onion. And literally, the original inhabitants on Chicago River, where it meets Lake Michigan, were gathered around. The original French fur traders came out, and they referred to that area as Chickasaw. And so that we wanted to honor the native inhabitants of this region. And they were thought out over here. I'm sure they were right there in the river banks, right behind us right now. So there's a long history that we have that goes way back before. Just being here tonight and hearing your kind words means everything to myself and my family, and I couldn't be more honored and this wonderful proclamation.
Well, we're very grateful, and we wish you another 125 years of success.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. And Mike, we're going to have a brief recess after the next proclamation. It was some hospitality across the hall, so I heard it say.
Trustee Burke has something to say.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, Trustee Burke can now weigh in because he was not connected before. I'm happy to recognize you, Andy.
Can you hear me okay?
Now we can.
All right, excellent. I wasn't sure who was there. I heard Mike speaking. Is John there or any other family members?
No, just Mike.
Okay, well, I just wanted to say hello to Mike, and I wanted to just offer my own congratulations. I too feel like I have a very long history with both the brewery and the pub, personal history that goes a long way back to the early 2000s when it first opened, like you, Kevin. We really enjoyed, my wife and I and neighbors really enjoyed the 25th anniversary celebration, which was excellent. You guys were excellent hosts, and we're just thrilled that you guys have been such a keystone business and social gathering place for the village of Lake Barrington for all these years. So again, congratulations to you, and thank you for your service to our community, and we look forward to continuing to partner with you for a long, successful future together. So thank you.
Thank you, Andy, very much. Our next proclamation, we kind of choreographed this one a little more, is to honor our dear friend and former colleague, Jim Thompson. He evaded this for a few months after his retirement, but we were diligent in hunting him down. I'm going to yield to Trustee Thompson for purposes of reading the proclamation. And then we will take comments from the board. And then Trustee Shalin will move the question. And Trustee Hayes, who is a fellow member of the LDS, the members of the LDS, will second it. So, Trustee Shalin, excuse me.
You don't have to read your own.
Yeah, you can read.
Let's last the slide.
Thank you. Good save. Good save.
Whereas Jim C. Thompson has served as a key leader in village government since May of 2015. Whereas Jim C. Thompson served as chair of the Veteran Affairs and Special Events Committee and the Community Relations Committee. Jim also served as an alternate to the Executive Board of the Barrington Area Council of Governments, BACOG, in 2018 and 2019. And as the Water Resources Committee member for 2017-2020, and as an alternate director of the Solid Waste Agency of Lake County, SWOLCO. Whereas Jim C. Thompson was also a prime member of the team that worked to achieve the 2019 Governor's Hometown Award for the Veterans of Lake Barrington Shores Brave Hearts program. Brave Hearts, a therapeutic riding and educational center, and the Veterans of Lake Barrington Shores joined together to create an interactive event at Friar Farm, provide residents of Lake Barrington and its surrounding communities with the opportunity to learn about the benefits equine-assisted therapy provides servicemen and women and veterans who face challenges such as PTSD. Whereas Jim C. Thompson represents the best of many who have given service to his country, village, and others. Whereas the President and Board of Trustees of the Village of Lake Barrington desire to acknowledge the time and expertise so generously given by Jim and to thank him for his outstanding public service to the community and all of its residents, past, present, and future. And now therefore be it resolved by the President and Board of Trustees of the Village of Lake Barrington, Lake County, Illinois, that the Village of Lake Barrington expresses its deep appreciation to Jim C. Thompson for his dedicated and exemplary service to the community.
Thank you, and we'll start with the round. And I will call on trustees for comment. Let me do a sound check. Trustee Burke, can you hear us?
I can. I couldn't hear any of the proclamation or anything, but I can hear you very clearly.
Okay, well, let me start by asking you to share thoughts about Trustee Thompson and his service to the community. We're going around the dais for that purpose.
Well, thank you for letting me lead off. First of all, I want to say hello to former Trustee Thompson and let you know that I miss you sitting at my left side there. And glad to have you back tonight. Can't put into words what you've meant to the village over these years, your spirit, your enthusiasm, your sense of community, the bridge that you've built, helped build between the veterans and the village of Lake Barrington and the broader Lake Barrington shores is just immeasurable. So, Jim, thank you for all that you have done. Thank you for being a great colleague and a great friend to the village and a great friend to me personally. And I wish you very well in your continued work with the veterans and you enjoying your retirement. And I hope that you bring the golf handicap down accordingly.
Thank you, Trustee Burke. Trustee Van Ryan, are you able to hear us?
I do.
I'm happy to yield to you for comments about your friend and former colleague, Trustee Thompson.
Excellent. Jim, we really do miss you. I share Andy's sentiments that we always enjoyed having you between us and can always count on your bright personality, your positive outlook, your warm wishes, and to me especially as you helped me kind of find my way as a new trustee over the past year. And I will always cherish your guidance, your leadership, your example that you set for all of us and how you've given back to the community. So thank you so much. We hope you continue to enjoy your retirement and please stay close.
Thank you, Trustee Van Ryan. Trustee Shalhouse.
Thank you. Jim, you and I met several years ago with our little focus group that we had and had some very interesting comments and concerns. And at that point, I got to meet you, and it was such a wonderful experience. And I know I have very, very big shoes to fill, taking over your spot. You have always had an open door to the village and myself, and I really look forward to maintaining our friendship. So thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you. Trustee Hayes.
Yeah, Jim, it's been a pleasure to work with you for a short time, of course, but you're one of the reasons I'm up here because you and Randy helped guide me to serve again in a different capacity. But watching this board and watching other things, how you've carried the veterans of the LBS into the community, it's noticed by me just being here for a short while, and thinking across America where most Americans really don't even know somebody who's served in the military. To bring your energy around that with the veterans of Lake Barrington is unique, I think, to most communities. And I think you should be proud of that. And we're going to miss you. You're not going anywhere, though, so we'll find you at some point. Thanks for your service. I very much enjoyed serving with you.
Thank you. Trustee Perkins.
Mr. Thompson, I am so happy that I had the opportunity to know you over the past few years. You were so welcoming when I first came here. I didn't know what I was doing, and you were just so helpful and welcoming. You always bring you always make me smile when I walk in because you have a wonderful smile on your face and a great outlook on everything. And I just really appreciate the time that we got to spend here and at the barn stops and the concerts, you know, it's just been wonderful. And thanks for putting all those things together too.
Thank you.
Trustee Schaller. I don't know, it's just working now, it's working out there. Mr. Thompson, sir, as the President Richardson keeps calling you the Energizer Bunny, you've run with the trustee position since you joined us back in 2015. You've added an awful lot, I think, on behalf of our community, Lake Barrington Shores, certainly on behalf of the veterans of Lake Barrington Shores, to involve the organization with the entire community, to make that a major thrust of what you're doing. And of course, with your advertising background, to communicate and promote writing articles and the shorelines. Obviously, that's one of your great talents is writing and promoting and involved in things. And so, disappointed that you decided to take care of yourself and not give it to the village, but grateful for the years that you have, and we certainly look forward to having you involved with the fire farm, ongoing with the veterans, the barn stop, the concerts, and everything else. And thank Jenny, your wonderful wife, for providing your services to us while she stayed home. But I thank you very, very kindly. The best of everything to you. Thank you.
Thank you. I had the good fortune of having company. I'm going to work to extreme my emotion. Start with something a little lighthearted. You can tell the character of someone with how they handle not only setback or defeat, but actually victory. Much like your dad. When Georgia beat Notre Dame,
Here we go.
I was prepared for the worst. And then I thought, oh, he can't be that bad, he's too nice a guy. And I thank the lucky stars, that he was graciously unfollowed, because I can assure you that if gone the other way, I would not have bet. I think we've been successful as a board over many years because we start with common assumptions about life. You married above your station in life, and I married above my station in life. And neither of us have had anyone ever contest that in all these years. The note about your remarkable enthusiasm, I got two great examples. When Jim joined the board, especially with his comms and advertising background, one of the things that we worked hard on is to really make sure that the single-family home neighborhoods and the gated communities understood that we were one community. There wasn't LBS and then all the single-family neighborhoods. We are one Lake Barrington. And it was because of Jim's leadership, working through the veterans organizations, that the single-family home neighborhoods were invited into LBS for veterans and vets. It was Jim that got that done, with the support of his colleagues, of course, but it was Jim who made the effort, who understood the importance of us being together and being united. You know, the rest of the world isn't nearly as nice as Lake Woodley here. And you have character and honor. You know, a lot of politicians have the title of the honorable. You actually are honorable. Also something in short measure too often in our society. I'm grateful for you being an idea machine. And I know plenty of times you thought I was traveling overseas just to avoid you. But it was always good to know that if we had a problem, we had at least 3 ideas to solve it. Those of us who were a little slow on the road, there was an expression from when we were children, especially if we were going to play Little League. Jim Thompson showed up every never caught him napping, literally or figuratively. He was always ready to lend a hand and go the extra distance. Oh, how we miss that in America today too much. So we want you to know that your legacy is extraordinarily valued because it's a role model to our children to say, this is how you should behave if you want to be a good citizen. You epitomize that. And so it's with that sentiment in mind that Chair would like a motion to approve the proclamation. So moved by Trustee Schaller, may I please have a second by Trustee Hayes. The clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Schaller.
Yes.
Trustee Hayes.
Yes.
Trustee Burke.
Yes.
Trustee Perkins.
Yes.
Trustee Almauer.
Yes.
Trustee Van Ryan.
Yes.
President Richardson.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium our friend and former colleague.
Thank you very much. Go Dogs. Let's see here. Just have a few notes. First of all, a reminder that Saturday, 1 to 4 p.m., Ray Cars will again be at Friar Farm. They do a wonderful job of helping service people with PTSD through an equine assistance program. And it's just what they've been doing since 2002. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing they do. Please have a look at that if you will. So, okay, here we go. First of all, thank you for this honorable evening. It means a lot to me to know you value my perspective and work on behalf of all of the village residents. You're an amazing board, you always have been since I've been around. And the village, I have to say, has an extraordinary working staff and should be proud of what they do on a daily basis. Led by Village Administrator Karen Lane, Village Clerk and the Executive Assistant Lisa Lava, Village Permanent Administrator, Deputy Village Clerk, Julie Powers, who loves vegetarian pizza. Village Treasurer, Peggy Hirsch, who's a wonder. And Village Secretary, Lady Gerwood. They're always wonderful whenever I need them. Thank you. You know, I'm proud to have been a part of the Village Board that has never, in my term in office, included political expediency in any aspect of what it has accomplished. This is a truly nonpartisan village board, led by a president who understands what a village is and how to accomplish its mission. And it should be recognized as such for its commitment to what our Constitution represents. So for me, it is odds to a village that works for all of its residents. I truly salute you all. And thank you for having me as part of it. Finally, has everyone ever seen the new Elvis movie or any concerts or anything like that? Well, I don't want to in any way make a comparison to him, but I would like to sort of quote the announcement at the end of his Elvis concerts. Jim Thompson has left the building. Thank you.
Chairman Mike Wilson, Jim and Ginny, Steve Bill Bishop from the Veterans of LDS, and Mike, please stay. We're going to go across the hall.
My younger brother Michael's here as well.
Oh. Chair will declare a brief recess for purposes of a short session to honor Trustee Thompson and our guests. We are in recess. We are back in session. It is 8:06 p.m. and we are going to fly through this, I hope, quickly. we need agenda item 15 carried out?
Yes.
What I'd love to do, as a courtesy to some of our other guests who are here from the Lions Club, is to move up your agenda items so you don't have to stay all the way to the end. So why don't you come on up, and Chair will be moving to agenda item 15A, application for temporary use, special events, Barrington Lions Club. And we will let the village administrator provide, and council, Ms. Bateman, provide some background, and then you gentlemen can introduce yourselves. Brian, nice to see you.
Nice to see you, sir.
And we'll have a conversation here, so the chair will yield first to the administrator, then to council, and then you gentlemen can introduce yourselves for the record, and we'll go over that.
Sure. Barrington Lions Club is seeking a temporary use special event for a fall festival to be held on Friday, September 23rd from 5 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. and on Saturday, September 24th from 11 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. at the Angel Water building located at 28214 West Northwest Highway. They have submitted their application for a temporary use special event permit. And in speaking with Mr. Loomis, who was the person who was emailing and submitting that application, he stated that the organization is very familiar with hosting large events based on their years of work at the what we know as the BOT tent in Barrington for the July parade. I sent him a list of a number of items that will need to be addressed. They're not there yet, but they're working toward that. So with that.
So,
Wait, into the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, a couple of concerns. I'm Becky Bateman-Alcatlas from the village attorney. I just want to make sure that any approval is conditional upon the things that Administrator Dalton Lang has already raised with you. I know you guys are familiar with these processes for getting, making sure that you have a special event liquor license through the state and through the village. And then my concern is to make sure that there's sufficient coverage with Lake County Sheriff's Office, given that there's also the barn stomp scheduled for the Saturdays of that same weekend. Just to make sure that there's going to be sufficient coverage. It won't be a problem for the sheriff's office to whatever other coverage needs to be done as far as special detail coverage, et cetera, for both events. So as long as that is addressed, that would be my concern. And then making sure that the village is named as an additional insurer for liability purposes, in addition to obviously Lions Club and Angel Water.
Yeah, I'll kind of try to summarize it for my colleagues, especially since two of them are on my telephone and we're having in and out with the audio. But I don't think anybody my age can, with any sense of the world, doesn't know what the Lions Club is. When we moved from Melrose Park to Palatine, both have had active Lions Clubs, to promote the principles of good government and good citizenship. They did a lot at Friend High School. This is what Friend was in the middle of a cornfield. And quick roads, 2 lanes, with a wicked S-curve off of what is now Euclid coming up towards the high school. And they would do, I can remember buying the candy, at the intersections from volunteers. So, I got a soft spot in my heart for anybody who wants to promote the principles of American culture and American citizenship. As council noted, you guys get this. We've got to be protected. We live in a litigious age, and we got to make sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. But our requirements should in no way be viewed as anything other than responsible due diligence on behalf of our residents, not in anything to do to slow you down. We just need you to work with us so we can get this done. And, a point that's different in Lake Barrington from the village of Barrington
is they have they have a large full-time staff, including public works and police. We are very ably represented in local law enforcement by the sheriff's department, the sheriff's office, but we don't have public works. So some of the requirements that the administrator referenced are simply to be our reality. So that is kind of set up, especially for Trustee Van Ryan and Trustee Burke who are on the phone with us. Let me ask you each to speak into the microphone so they can hear you. Introduce yourselves for the record, and then any comments you'd like to share with the board.
Line President Bob Thomas.
A little closer to the mic.
Line President Bob Thomas. And
Brian Scott. I've been a Bridge line member for 22 years. I was a newly elected president. I was the president in 15, 17, so every 2 years we kind of rotate. Just to give you a little quick history for some of the trustees who aren't really familiar, we've been doing this rock tank, so to speak, in Barrington for 37 years. COVID hit and put a damper on us obviously for 3 years. And this year, when we were trying to work with the village of Barrington, it got to be too late of a process for the liquor licenses, for all the liability stuff. It was just too late. So Andrew Wilson, who owns Angel Water, one of the high school here on Barrington grad, he's a couple years younger. I'm going to look, but he's a couple years younger. He's been a big sponsor of us, obviously, the water and financially for bands for years. And he came to us and said, why aren't you guys having this? Why aren't you doing this? And we're like, we're still trying to find a spot. He said, how about my shop? I said, I'm not sure what Lake Barrington, all the laws and all the restrictions. And he said, come on. It's a great time. I was saying, I've been here my whole life. But so we just started with Karen's been fantastic working with John Lewis back and forth. We definitely are used to doing this. The police will be a little different. We'd like to have the police that was definitely going to be for shuttle. We can hire them privately or just have them there, but that kind of worked out. Barrington always gave us 3 officers after 5 p.m. The hours, we would be closing at 11:30. The alcohol would stop at 11. Unless you want that changed, we can have the band stop at 11, but I will assure you, when 11:29 rolls around, that band will stop. If that's the time, if it's 11 p.m., at 10:59, that band will be over. So we never ran over, we never had a problem with Barrington. For cleanup, we always hired a crew, they always came to clean the parking lots up, so we're very respectful to the neighbors, obviously. We just want to make this work and have a festival. We've supported, obviously, Sight and Sound is a big thing for the Lions, but we supported the military, Great Hearts, my daughters volunteer there, so we give it to the military, the veterans in Lake Barrington Shores, they all know us. And we love to give back to our towns and our communities, and that's what we're all about, is giving our time and stuff. So that's, as our motto is Lions Serve. We just want to have this festival, for the public. I'm sorry for the barn stop, I didn't realize that was the date. But if we go any further, now we're into homecoming weekend, and then you get in the middle of October, and then it gets really cold.
Yeah.
And Mike Keynes has been our supporter of the beer at this brand for several years, so it's glad to see him. I got to stop myself on a phone call from him, but nice to see Mike. Great guy, great family, obviously, beautiful restaurant, so I got him quite often. But that's pretty much the history of us. Again, this is a long-standing thing we've done for the community for around. We're hoping to attract more people. This is a little bit outside of the village, so we may get some carriers, some flags, some grow people. We hope, attract some Crystal Acres. They just had a beautiful fest last week, and I was over there. And I kind of go around all different festivals just to see what else is going on. I was at Wakanda Fest 2 weeks ago. So this isn't going to be that big. I can assure you that. It's just kind of a hometown feeling, and we've had a lot of alumni. People who were upset that because they always come back from, for the 4th of July. So they're all excited that we're trying to work this out. We're hoping with you guys. And again, we're a great group to work with. I know a lot of the paperwork has been filled out a lot of it so far. I know there's more coming for sure. All the legal stuff. I can tell we have more than enough insurance. Our guarantee insurance is well more than what most people are requiring. So we want to protect everybody. Obviously, safe event. We want this to be a kid-friendly event also. We usually have kids entertainment. Because on a Friday, we're not going to play on a Friday, but we have clowns and we have some kind of animal shows. We have, we used to have the service. We've had a flyover in Barrington before. If you have ever been there for the U.S. Coast Guard. So we got real involved with the military, just because I support that 100%. All of our club people do. So that's kind of the history. That's what we've done. I'll show you any questions.
Yeah, it is our custom for me to go around the dais for trustees to ask any questions.
Sure, absolutely.
Let me start with the telephone just to the sound. Trustee Burke, can you hear us?
I can.
Great. Do you have questions for the gentleman here from the Lions Club regarding the special use event? Thank you, Warren.
No, I have no questions.
Thank you. Trustee Van Ryn, can you hear us?
I can, and I have no questions as well, thank you.
Trustee Schallwasser?
No questions?
Trustee Hayes?
No questions.
Trustee Perkins?
No questions.
And Trustee Scheller?
The question is just wish you the very, very best in a successful event. The Lions Club are a great organization, one of the best service organizations in the country, and obviously you're right part of that. And we certainly hope that you have a fantastic event.
Thank you very much.
When we had a committee of the whole prior to this tonight, we discussed this. Correct me on this. And, are you challenged? Are you charging a fee for people to do that? How does the money work?
Yeah, so it's a $5 fee, which other festivals are $8, $7. Obviously, times have changed since COVID. We're going to try to keep it, but our last fee's been $5 after 5 o'clock. And that's only for 18 and over, all the kids are all free. So, and again, all the proceeds really, this is going to be a challenge for us because we have generated, we haven't done this before, so this is going to be all new. So any proceeds will benefit all of our sheriffs, which are all mine. Mainly, our police, our fire, again, our military, our sight and sound, that's all.
I remember my grandparents with the Lions Club gave glasses.
Glasses.
That was about vision.
And glass man. Talk about the glasses. We have them all over.
We do. We have donation boxes all over the villages, and primarily we do sight, but we are sight and sound, and we really are happy to be a part of the Barrington community and really welcome the fact that Lake Barrington is considering this for our opportunity.
So that you guys can proceed while we simultaneously address the administrator and council's concern. I'm happy to move a question here that provides provisional or contingent approval pending the completion of all necessary tasks. Consistent with our conversation in the committee of the whole. And so council, listen to how I'm going to say this so that I don't get it wrong. Try this. See if this works. Yeah. Okay, the chair would like a motion to approve resolution number 2022-R-13. Thank you, Lisa. Approving a conditional contingent temporary special use permit for the Barrington Lions Club event, subject to the requirements of the village administrator. Good.
Oh, fine.
May I have that motion, please? So, by Trustee Schallwasser, second by Trustee Perkins. Thank you both. I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Scheller?
Yes.
Trustee Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee Burke?
Yes.
Trustee Hayes?
Yes.
Trustee Schallwasser?
Yes.
Trustee Van Ryn?
Yes.
President Richardson?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks, fellas.
And I just want to say thank you all again for taking the time. And I hope you can enjoy it. Come visit us for a brat or a sausage or something. We don't want to cook, that's for sure. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I need my pen back. I need my pen back. Flashlights are valuable.
Yeah, don't take the face off.
I don't steal, trust me, I'm sorry. Thank you.
They're going to donate to your fund.
For Andy and Joyce's benefit, there was a walking out of the door of the sheriff's deputy's pen.
Our apologies.
Oh, golly. Okay. Agenda item 8 or 7 this evening this is the first opportunity in the agenda for the public to address the village board on non-agenda items. There is no one from the public in attendance. So we can move to agenda item 8, the consent agenda. A, carpet replacement, office and conference room, administrator, Ellen Blank, please.
This is simply to replace the office and replace the carpeting in the office and conference area. and to remove the original carpeting from 1993.
And then 8B, flag display policy.
Yeah, the flag display policy is to just codify and make clear the display of flags on village properties, and so that there's no misunderstanding by anybody at any time.
C, mobile food vendor ordinance amendment.
This amendment will allow mobile ice cream vendors to operate in the village with a license from the village, and prohibits mobile food vendors like I'll say taco trucks or chicken trucks or whatever, from riding around and parking on village right away, which would be village streets or village property. They are still permitted, as always, to be on private property, and of course they have to have the proper Lee County Health insurance or certificate. Yes.
And D, HOA installation of decorative street signs and after the administrative street sign, I'll see if trustee Burke has anything to add. Okay.
Okay, so the estates of Lake Barrington, they approached the village for approval of replacing their existing street signs and stop signs within their subdivision with decorative street signs. The black, very similar to what we have in Pepper Park, the black poles, the street signs outlined in black, stop signs outlined in black, and the village has already reviewed them for compliance with manual uniform traffic control devices for heights and reflectivity and how high they have to leave off the ground, etc. So once if the board approves this resolution, the HOA will agree an agreement that they sign that they will forever and always maintain this, and the village is not happy with the maintenance. They will be responsible for the renewal and replacement of the village high signs. So this HOA has already agreed to pay all expenses from the village, including any legal fees and our building permit fees, et cetera, for the inspection and installation.
And it's set up as a revocable license, so the village can revoke it with 30 days notice at any time for a day.
Are there any questions from any member of the board on any of the consent agenda items?
Kevin and Sandy, just a request that we carve out these separately because I have to abstain from voting on that.
Thank you. I'm happy to do so. Thank you. Then, Lisa, we're going to need 2 resolution numbers because we're going to do 8D separately, okay? So Chair would like a motion to approve agenda items 8A through 8C under resolution number 2022-R-.
So moved.
Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, I apologize, I got this wrong. I apologize, I got this wrong. Let me start again. I say that a lot these days. We'll take it one at a time. Easy peasy. 8A, carpet replacement. Chair would like a motion to allow the village administrator to execute a contract with Royal Home Flooring and to authorize the administrator to execute the necessary documents. May I have that motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you. Trustee Hayes, and may I have a second?
Second.
By Trustee Burgess, thank you both. The clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Hayes,
Yes.
Trustee Perkins,
Yes.
Trustee Burke,
Yes.
Trustee Fowler,
Yes.
Trustee Schallhauser,
Yes.
Trustee Van Ryn,
Yes.
President Richardson.
Great, yes. 8B, flag display policy. Chair would like a motion to approve ordinance number 2022-0-7. Thank you. An ordinance amending Title I Administration of the Village of Lake Barrington Village Code to add a new Chapter 20, quote, Village Flag Display Policy, close quote. May I have a motion, please?
So
Moved by Trustee Schallhauser, seconded by Trustee Schaller. Did I get that right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't have my hearing aids. Clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Schallhauser,
Yes.
Trustee Schauber?
Yes.
Trustee Burke?
Yes.
Trustee Hayes?
Yes.
Trustee Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee Van Ryn?
Yes.
President Richardson?
Yes. 8C, local food vendor ordinance amendment. Chair would like a motion to approve ordinance number 2022-0-8. Thank you, Lisa. An ordinance amending Title II of the Village Code relative to mobile food vendors. May I have the motion, please?
So moved.
Trustee Perkins, thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Hayes, thank you both. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee Hayes?
Yes.
Trustee Burke?
Yes.
Trustee Schauber?
Yes.
Trustee Schauber?
Yes.
Trustee Van Ryn?
Yes.
President Richardson?
Yes. We got this IT thing rolling now, Karen. Thank you. Forgetting the delay, council is advising me on the next vote for AD, HO installation, decorative street signs. I'm going to ask you to go out of order and call people on the phone last, just for, so forgive me for that request, I need you to do it that way, okay? Chair would like a motion to approve resolution number 2022-R-14, right?
Yes.
Thanks. A resolution to grant the estates of Lake Barrington a limited and revocable license to approve or to authorize installation and maintenance of decorative signs subject to permit approval. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
By Trustee Perkins, thank you. May I please have a second?
Second.
Trustee Hayes, thank you both. Clerk, will please call the roll with calling Andy last.
Trustee Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee Hayes?
Yes.
Trustee Schauber?
Yes.
Trustee Schauber?
Yes.
Trustee Van Ryn?
Yes.
Trustee Burke?
I abstain.
And President Richardson?
Yes. Wonderful, thank you. And Andy, thanks for the reminder.
You bet.
Agenda item 9 is the treasurer's report. Mrs. Hirsch, you are on.
Thank you. Good evening. So we just have 1 month I'm reporting on. This is, I believe, that is me. So look at the last report on page 2. Excuse me, sorry. I will start with the total assets. We have $4,301,000 in assets. Our current liabilities right now are $1,377,000. Our equity is at $2,925,000. So our assets equal our liabilities plus our equity at $4,302,000. Revenue for the month of May is $288,113. Expenses for the month, $195,957, giving net income of $92,155. So as we've done before, to make a meaningful comparison to last year at this point, we had a $32,975 loss. So we'll go below a little golden line here, applying extraordinary items to come up with our ordinary net income and loss. And once we do that, you can see our regular operation net income is $95,411. And compared to last year, it was $103,912. So you can see it's relatively close. It's about a 7 or 8% difference from last year. I'll just make 2 quick notes on revenue items. I'll talk about income tax and building permit revenue. So total revenue is only down about 5% total village revenue for the month. But income tax and building permit revenue are both down significantly. Income tax is down 35% and building permit revenue is down 70%. So the income tax, if you recall, last month we had the highest distribution ever. I think it was $162,000 of LDDF. That's more than twice what we usually get each month. So I'm not surprised this month is a little bit lower than last May. It's not significantly lower, it's mostly, I'm sure, more of a timing difference and nothing to worry about income tax dropping off. At this point, I think it's 1 month as well. Building permit revenue, I predict that will be down significantly from last year.
our available lots are dwindling, and interest rates are starting to, they're leveling off, but they're higher than last year. But the biggest thing I think is there's still supply chain issues with building, getting materials and labor is tight as well. So I see that dwindling this year from last year, so I'm not surprised it's down from last year. There's a significant drop. We haven't had a lot of single-family home permits this month last year. So we only budgeted 5 for the whole year this year. Last year we budgeted 12. So we are kind of in line with that. So nothing to worry about there, but I thought I would point it out. We can flip forward to page 89 for the actual budget report. It is 1 month, so I don't feel it's necessary to make any comparisons. You can see on page 8 at the bottom, our revenues are 7% actual budget. And then on page 9, our total expenses are 5% actual budget. Once again, we're 1 month into the fiscal year, so unless anyone sees anything that's an outlier, I'd like to discuss it. I don't have anything to point out at this point on the general fund. Okay, then I'll move on to our next one, which is the motor tax fund. So that's on page 10. And our net current assets, which is actually our current assets, our current liabilities, it's at $459,000. The fund is pretty much budgeted to spend that entire fund balance as well as the current year earnings on road projects this year. So that money will be spent over the course of the fiscal year. That's that budgeted. Page 13, water sewer fund. I usually mention the net current assets there in case we have a large repair that's necessary when we have these big structures and infrastructure. We do need to maintain a significant balance for repair. There's $1.8 million in net current assets in that fund. We budgeted about $90,000 in repairs this year, so nothing large this year in the works, in the plan, I should say. So that's all I have without talking about the warrants. Any questions on the financial statements before I go to the warrants?
Are there questions for the treasurer?
Okay, we'll go through the invoices to know which there's a few on warrant A. Cuba Township, there's one for $2,444, one for $2,700. Both of those are for culvert repairs. HR Green, $25,837.50, and that's for the preliminary engineering work on the fiscal 23 road program. ILM, $2,378.45. That's for algae control and nutrient deactivation and for the pond over idling. Municipal one for $3,196. That's for the annual hosting of the village website. Next site LLC for $8,000 for commercial development advisory fees. That was approved last month. That is the first of 3 years in the agreement. It's $8,000 per year. Sonorama for $3,645. That's the 50% deposit on the new Welcome to Lake Barrington sign. That check actually has been issued. We did receive trustee cases approval last month to do that before the board meeting because it was needed to get the work started. So we call it a manual check, but I'd like to know that the board to approve as well.
If I didn't get a chance to ask you on the road, Cuba Township Road, they filled the invoices per month, is that what we got to this one?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry, the Cuba Road maintenance bills, there's 2 of them, they failed to send the bill per month in June. And those are the 2 warrants.
Oh, exactly, yes.
Okay.
It could have just missed, yeah. But we're very careful to just make sure that we're paying, and the bills actually have them on them. So,
Okay.
good question. Warrant B, there's one invoice to note, and that's page 3 for $1,320. And that's the annual payment for the social media archiving program. And that's what all I have, but I have to answer questions or.
I Chair is happy to yield to any trustees seeking to ask the village treasurer questions about her report.
This word is really well, like, sorry, insurers, for the American sign.
This was already there, I'm sorry.
Where's the new sign?
You already had that administrator that one. Yeah, I'll answer that. So the answer to where's the new sign is the same location as the old sign, which is Cuba and Northwest Ohio. Yeah, so that's the location.
We're putting a new sign.
Yeah, so with the new logo. Yeah.
So you've got to experience life without hearing aids.
I I think what it is I think this is like an echo chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was,
And when I'm here, it's really.
you're right in the middle because there's the way the microphones here. There's a set of speakers back there, and that's where you hear us when we're sitting back there, so you're not hearing the echo. And there's speakers here, so we can hear somebody speaking there, but the way this room is designed, the space overlaps, so now you hear.
I can hear you if I stand here, I can hear that, but if I stand here, it's like you said, it's distorted.
Yeah, you're right in the zone of distortion.
I will mention one more thing, this did come up last month with Speedway's last 7-Eleven, still not heard word from them. So it falls in their court.
Now say it again, standing over there.
Yeah.
Can you step to the side?
Yes, say it again loudly.
Oh, okay. I've not heard, followed to last month, I mentioned Speedway 7-Eleven with our incentive agreement, still not heard word from them. So the ball's in their court.
Okay.
$5,000 is in their bank.
So for Amy and Julie's benefit, what the treasurer has said is that she has still not heard from Speedway 7-Eleven with regard to our incentive agreement with them. So we'll maybe contemplate additional actions.
Did they hear her, or did you just talk? Like, Trustee Burke, did you hear when Turner heard she was just speaking?
I could hear her, and then all of a sudden I couldn't hear her.
So they can hear you when you're at the microphone, but they can't hear you when you step away.
Oh, no, in fact, people have to be right into their microphones or it sounds like mumbo jumbo. People really have to be speaking directly into them or it fades out really fast.
I think my long-standing love of the microphone would come in handy.
Could I ask a question about Speedway?
Yes.
Are we, and you know, I got involved in that and we located a person within their organization who does their tax work. Are we withholding any payments from them at this point in time because of their lack of reporting, or what's the status of that?
Yes, trustee, during Bateman, what's your last name?
Alice Cutlass.
I still answer Bateman. Trustee Burke, they have an obligation under the economic incentive agreement to provide their tax returns before we provide any incentive payment to them. And we've been requesting, Treasurer Hirsch has been requesting those tax returns that is pursuant to the agreement, so we cannot and we should not give them the economic incentive payment until we have those. And that is standard for all the economic incentive agreements we do for all of our municipal clients, for all businesses. They are able to provide those, and they have this ask.
We're supposed to provide me with their calculation.
Yeah, I certainly am not challenging or questioning that. I just didn't know what the timing was.
Sure.
When would we be making this payment? When would we do to make it if everything
It would have been due right now because I received from the state also. I don't know what the amount is for just what we received from the state. So right now we have, corroboration with their numbers. So yes, we would have paid it probably last month or the month before even.
And Peggy, maybe we can just take this offline, but obviously the person that you were introduced to who said they would take this issue on seemed pretty earnest in their desire to get it right. So I'm curious, have they just simply stopped communicating with you or haven't been able to deliver the information? Or
Well, probably both, because I reached out a couple of times after our first communication, and she said I'm still working on it, and so I stopped asking.
Okay, then to me, I'm going to conclude from that in the handoff from Marathon Oil to 7-Eleven, something has gotten lost, and they're trying to find it. They're trying to recreate it or something. That's all I can determine because, but maybe we can talk a little bit. Peggy, as you know, I'm very happy to stick my nose back into it if I need to. But the other side of that, you and I agree, that we're not chasing these people down. They know what they owe us, they know what they need to do, and it's not our obligation or the staff's obligation to chase this information down in order to make the payment. I'm assuming that it's a sizable amount of money that they would want to get paid, and they would do what they need to get it done. So it's a little frustrating.
I would send multiple emails and ever since Maryland's been involved, just begging, not begging, but, getting information. And then the last time when it came and I was thinking it was incorrect, that's when it was really stuck in the game. So something's going on.
Well, right, but that was Marathon, and they had a good reason they were done with it. In other words, that didn't surprise me that they just dropped the ball. But now we put it in the hands of 7-Eleven. That's really what I want the board to understand. Is it's no longer Marathon Oil we're chasing, it's 7-Eleven corporate that we're chasing, corporate tax. And they are also having difficulty creating the necessary reporting, apparently. So we've advised staff, previously to just stop chasing, because we clearly have made it known that nothing will happen without this information. And I just don't think it's Peggy or anybody else's responsibility to continue to chase this information down. They'll get to it when they wonder where their money is. They'll eventually figure out that they need to provide this reporting.
Well, the good news is we're obviously on the required return to the state, because we're getting paid each month, sales tax from Speedway.
Right.
So.
All right, well, we can talk further this offline, maybe, Peggy can figure out, what, if anything, we need to be doing at this point.
And you raised a really good point. I have a follow-on question for Peggy, and I'm going to pass the mic back to her. Are we escrowing what we might owe them so that when they do come through, we've got the money?
We have the money accounts payable.
Okay, good. So it's accrued?
Correct. We've discussed it, there's an accounts payable. It'll be in our financial statement, so I'll be curious at the end of when the auditors come in, at a certain point it's not paid, if they'll consider the liability of that year, or the liability next year.
Okay, good. Didn't think there would be an issue, but I'd like to ask. Thank you. Any further questions to the treasurer? Okay, as always, thank you, Peggy. My father's mother was remarkably fastidious, and the expression my grandfather used where that was concerned applies to the finances of this village. This is cleaner than your grandmother's kitchen floor. And our statements are as clean as my grandmother's kitchen floor. Chair would like a motion to approve in block agenda items A through C. A, approval of the financial statements as of yes. Typo on the recommended action. Thank you, Rebecca. Don't worry, that'll just come out of your I borrowed that line from Dean Martin, who I saw on YouTube the other night. Chair would like a motion to approve and block agenda items 9A through C. Thank you, Council. A, approve the financial statements as of May 31, 2022. B, pay bills in the amount of $224,154.26 as listed on the accounts payable warrant A, dated July 11, 2022. And C, pay bills in the amount of $32,452.99 as listed on the accounts payable warrant B, dated July 11, 2022. May I have a motion in block?
So moved.
By Trustee Hayes, thank you. May I please have a second? By Trustee Shallow, thank you both. Clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Hayes?
Yes.
Trustee Schauer?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee Stallmoser?
Yes.
Trustee Van Ryn?
Yes.
President Richardson?
Yes. Agenda item number 10 is the administrator's report.
Okay, so good news. Federal Road Reconstruction has the Lake County DOT's staff recommendation to be placed on the 2023 through 2027 contingency program for allocation of funds for the surface transportation program. So you might remember a few months ago we had HR Green submit an application to the Lake County DOT. It's the first step in the process, and it goes to the Council of Mayors, who has made a recommendation to approve it. They have a lot of other projects before this project, but it's all good. It's going as anticipated. So we're going through the process of doing the traffic counts that we did earlier this year and making the formal submittal, knowing it would take 5 or 6 years to get the funds. By that time, Hammer Road should be in pretty bad shape, but we'll really need construction. So that's all good news. Redwood Trails homeowner survey that regarding a special service area, the Nebraska Lake connection, was mailed to the residents on June 28th, and I asked for responses by July 15th. To date, 12 responses have been received out of the 27 properties. It's really 26 because one property is abandoned right now. So far there's been 7 yeses to an SSA to pay 50% of the cost of the connection and 5 no's. We'll see what happens after July 15th, and I think we'll be talking about it at the next board meeting. Prior to the tragic event that happened in Highland Park on the 4th of July, I reached out to the Lake County Sheriff's Office to provide palace training to trustees, planning commissioners, and staff. And we're going to be all together at one meeting. And they got back to me, and Deputy Boyd will be at Village Hall at our next board meeting, or prior to our next board meeting on August 9th, for 5:30 p.m. for so we probably won't have a committee whole meeting next month. We'll have a training staff, and I'll reach out to the planning commission, so they are invited as well. Regarding ground-mounted solar panels that we discussed last month in the committee of the whole, we have prepared a draft ordinance. ENF was a little bit late with getting their input into that ordinance, so we've got their comments now, and we're going to be reviewing the ordinance to make sure that our ordinance complies with the building code aspects of that, which is good. So that'll be on the August meeting. And some more good news. Our electric aggregation program is doing extremely well. The residents who signed up for the program last year have a fixed rate of 6.032 cents per kilowatt hour, and that's for the green energy. And right now, the ComEd annualized rate is 9.762 cents, but their July rate, because they go on a month-to-month changing basis, was 11.377 cents per kilowatt hour. So I'll be asking Energy to do a refresher mailing to any new people who have moved into the village since we started the program last year, or residents who previously not opted out. So that way they can sign in, they'll have another chance to get in on savings for at least another year because it's a good one there. So, any questions?
Okay. There are no questions for the clerk or for the administrator. We can move to agenda item 11, the clerk's report. Any reports? No? Okay. Agenda item 12 is the reports of the standing committee. Trustee Ryan, can you hear us? Because Brandon Communications is up first.
I can.
Wonderful.
We have had so many great stories to share on LinkedIn over the past weeks. In fact, the board meeting serves as very great fodder. We recognized Trustee Schoenmarzer for his joining the board. Also, our other new Chris Thompson, who was sworn in at the last meeting, and Karen Lambert, who was recognized. So we're getting great engagement on LinkedIn with all the great stories that were coming to life as part of our village board meeting and within the community. Up next, planning to celebrate Onion Pub on their 25th anniversary, and other good news that's coming. And as Karen mentioned, we're excited about the signage, the new sign that will be going up with our new logo. And that is not the only sign that will be new in the village, just a teaser there, more to come. And that is it for me for now.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 12B, economic development, Trustee Burke.
Thank you. Yes, one quick item building on what Trustee Dan Ryan was saying, and referencing Karen Lambert being recognized at our last meeting, and most of you are probably aware, it appeared in the Daily Herald not too long ago that Good Shepherd Hospital was named to Fortune America's top 100 hospitals list. So now we are very lucky to have a hospital that is held in such high regard and high acclaim. So more kudos to Karen for her work and her team for creating an amazing, as we say, while it's not in the village of Lake Barrington, it's a valuable amenity to the village of Lake Barrington. So we're very proud, pleased to have Good Shepherd here and see recognition that they sorely deserve. So very excited to see that, and that is my report.
Thank you. 12C, external relations, I got two things.
Our efforts with regard to engagement of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers continue. We have had some very productive telephone calls, not only with Senator Duckworth and with Congressman Caston, our current representative in Congress, but Congressman Quigley, who will represent Flint Lake State's part of Lake Barrington in the new Congress elected this November. His staff has also been very responsive to Jim Crum on this. We have had favorable support from the Chicago District Office, and it is now a mothership in Washington, D.C., and we are hoping that our allies in Congress will continue to press forward on this effort. I think we've gotten farther than I had hoped. I wasn't sure because we're such a small community, but the staff at the U.S. Army Corps Chicago District Office has been good champions, and we've done a good job, I think, in getting congressional support behind them. Trustee Hayes, do you have anything to add on that you know that I might not?
Sir, can you ask a question one more time?
Oh, do you have anything to add on the Flint Lake project?
No, I think it's lined up as well as we possibly can.
That's kind of how I feel. These are not easy things to get done, but I really feel good about the work, and that's because Jim really knows his way around the hardcore.
Second thing is,
2 weeks ago, I attended the UK Local Government Association conference in Harrogate, England, and like the United States, they have a number of subsidiary groups, including party-specific ones. I caucused with the LGA Conservatives, as I identify as a Republican here at home politically, and I got to spend an hour on stage with my counterpart, who chairs the LGA Conservatives, talking a lot about common problems mayors in the Anglo area have, and also about how we deal with the turmoil of each of our respective politics. A question that I got from the audience, one of them, and unfortunately it was an off-the-record thing, so there wasn't a recording that I'm aware of, because I asked for it. Is someone said, have you all lost your mind over there? And I said, yes. Yes, actually, we have lost our minds. It's very respectful of you. But they were quick to add, well, we have lost ours as well, so we feel a good campaign. It was an interesting moment because, the United Kingdom, and I had this conversation with a number of council leaders and mayors in Australia in May, is the U.S. and the UK and Australia have formed something last fall called AUKUS, Australia, UK, US, and it's a security alliance related in large part to nuclear submarine technology, but other things as well. It complements the Five Eyes, which adds to that mix our Canadian and New Zealand customs, and then the Quad, which includes our allies and friends in India and Japan. So the world's a scary place sometimes, and it's great to have great friends, and I was able to spend a delightful time. I went to their dinner that night, and I probably met 150 people. I was, this is going to shock you all, but I worked that room like hell wouldn't have it. And I had such a good time, especially since my dad's family's coming with. So that's my report for one.
12D, Finance, HR, and Administration, Trustee Hayes.
Yeah, one thing I did at GS at Memorial Day, I wrote a thing, Senator got work at the ceremony, part of the money committee that I share, so I did thank her for her staff's effort. She wasn't working, so we'll talk there. As far as, I do want to say something, because I don't get this too often, but what has happened, and you started talking about wackiness, this country has been in a lot of bad places in the past. And most Americans don't study history to really understand how bad it has been or not been, or how good it's been. And history is a lesson, I'm honestly very studious around that. I would only ask one thing of all of us, is take some time, and go Google or go to the library or whatever works for you, and read the Constitution. It doesn't take long. The Constitution of the Bill of Rights. I think when we hear the discourse of what's going on right now, I sit there and people certainly are passionate about their views, regardless of what side of the fence you're on, but the Constitution says it all. And I was at dinner last weekend with some friends, we were talking about things. I literally on my phone pulled up the Constitution, it was about Highland Park and the Second Amendment, and the comment was, well, it doesn't regulate or anything like that. It was never intended to. It was intended to be broad and be interpreted. But I would say do that because it puts everything you hear in context, and then you can impart your own views and beliefs. Nothing wrong with it. That's what the Constitution provides. But for me, I think America has lost that touch with the Constitution. And that holds true of the state of Illinois has its own Constitution as well. So I think it's good civic lesson to do that. So I wanted to start with that. I'll stop there because everybody has their own views. As far as the finance administration, I mean, awesome work by Peggy. Everything's going very smoothly. Karen, you're surprising how much you get done without seeing it get done each day. So nothing substantive to report. We're in good shape financially here with her. And obviously, Karen's pretty busy with all the summer construction activities. So I thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. 12E, infrastructure and open spaces, trustee Perkins.
Thank you very much. Speaking of summer projects, we've been waiting for quite some time for this to start, but finally tomorrow, the shoulder and Parkway restoration project will begin, and they will be starting at Connie and Apache, which is just weird. Yeah, we did. Yeah. Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Jen, item 12, public safety.
I have a question, please.
Please.
From trustee Perkins. I couldn't really hear what she said, but I just heard something about restoration. Could somebody clarify for me that?
The shoulder and parkway restoration project will begin tomorrow.
Shoulder and for what?
This is the restoration from the road project, so every road that was reconstructed, the side of the roads and then the returns, that part of the shoulder, concrete shoulder returns and the parkway restoration.
So anything that was disturbed, so we're talking about the final landscaping and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And that includes my neighborhood?
No.
No?
No, your neighborhood is being excluded.
Oh, good.
So you can't see my face.
She's acting like me.
I'm glad I'm not home to see all the egging that is happening. I've had a lot of questions about when that was going to be done. Is there a reason that it's taken so long, just out of curiosity?
No, just the landscape subcontractor pulled out, went to another job, and was not coming back, much to the disappointment of our engineers and your village administrator.
Okay, no, that's fine. I get it. You don't control everything. Everything just went so smoothly, and it was getting done so quickly, and then there was a big lull, and then I started getting the calls and the texts and the emails again, asking when this was going to be finished. So, and I didn't really know too much about what was happening there since I wasn't there. But so when will we expect that to be all finished?
Well, if they stay in town, it would only be a few days. But
okay.
At this point, I don't know if they will stay in town because they left people.
Got it. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, then agenda item 12F, public safety, trustee Shannon.
Thank you, President Richardson. We're honored to have Sergeant George Lund with us this evening from the Lake County Sheriff's Department, command part of the department. And we're all obviously aware of what took place a week ago. And the first responders and the Sheriff's Department and all the local police departments, I think it highlights the fact too that we need our own emergency operations plan. But boy, if something like that happens in our neighborhood, and so I asked Sergeant Love, your involvement in all this and what the general indicated was happening. Number one, I think our thanks to the department and all your members for everything that they did as part of this horrendous activity, but your thoughts.
Right. So, first of all, thank you guys for this evening. Again, last week was a horrific event for everybody involved. It's not just police and fire, it's the first responders, it's the hospital staff, it's the public, the citizens that help each other as well. It takes everybody to take care of a situation like that. We pray it never happens in Lake County. Unfortunately, last week it proved it. Not only can it, but it did happen. We prepare as law enforcement for this tragic day to happen. We pray it never does. Hopefully it will never happen again, but unfortunately in America today, you never know where it's going to happen. There's no safe place anymore. Prior to last week, I'm sure everybody in Highland Park that it would never happen there. Okay? And I just want to stress to everyone, again, we want you to go out and enjoy yourself. Enjoy the parades, enjoy the festivals, everything else, but be aware of your surroundings. Know what's going on around you. We don't want people to be paranoid, but we want people to be prepared. So, because you never know when it's going to happen. Down here in North Lake Barrington, as you know, you have one car dedicated to here, but obviously if something tragic like that to happen, the resources will pile in just like they did in Highland Park. Okay, whether it's with us, state police, other municipalities, county, McHenry County, right next door, Fox River Grove, Barrington, everybody would come in. So, I hope that helps.
I definitely appreciate, again, the work of the Sheriff's Department, the first responders, and the entire department. They were, to be out there, number one, it's an interesting environment that we live in now with law enforcement. And when you get something like that thrown at you, comprehension, can't even go to a parade. But it could happen, the thing the Lions Club or something happened to camels. It's not beyond belief that something could happen, unfortunately, to this point in time.
Sergeant, to John's point, when I was at the U.S. Conference of Mayors, I think one of the most disheartening, and this was 6 weeks ago, was there was a howler, we're all living on borrowed time. For a guy my age who comes from the kind of background I do, this is beyond my ability to fathom. That's why your squad is out front on the sidewalk. That's why you sit here. It shouldn't be this way. We have a mental health crisis that is significantly made worse by a culture that has glorified murder and violence in its music, its television, its movies, its video games. And then we top it up by legalizing marijuana with high THC content, and we're shocked these damn things happen. I admire you guys even more because you have so many more jobs to do than guys in your profession 50 years ago did. The only thing that surprises me is that we can be surprised. You know, if you drink a bottle of tequila, I promise you are going to spend the next 3 days throwing up. This cultural rot and the mental illness that goes untreated is morally unconscionable. And I thank you guys for putting your lives on the line to defend us. I can't stay polite about this. I think there's much accountability in justice. I am all for making accommodations on reasonable gun measures. But Illinois has some of the toughest, if not the toughest in the country, and it didn't stop here because we're treating this symptom. Doesn't mean we shouldn't do something, but we need to treat the root, which is the mental health crisis, aided and abetted by the cultural rot that glorifies this toxic masculinity and murder in all of our entertainment media. It just makes me ill. So forgive my butt but I feel very strongly on this. And if any of my voters think differently, I welcome them to come in here and debate that. Sorry for the diatribe.
Well, no, and that's why I respect and admire what our law enforcement people do. So appreciative of the fact that you're there and you're on our side and helping us. Appreciate it.
Right, and to go with that, we appreciate the support we have from your board members as well. So that makes our job a little bit easier knowing we have your guys' support. When something happens or we need to do something, you guys are right there with us to support us. So that makes a big difference as well. So again, it's all of us on the same team.
Other than that,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're good. I've got nothing major to report.
Very good. Thank you so very, very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
As far as the Barrington Countryside Fire Protection District, they're actually, the chamber's having a ribbon cutting at Station 39 on Barrington Road tomorrow, but they are also having a larger open house this Saturday from 10 until 2, and they're going to have activity for young people and getting to meet the crew, so certainly all invited. It's right out by the new Volvo dealership, the Shepherd activity on Barrington Road, so that's Saturday. And they also having a budget hearing on July 18th for the department. Want to thank both Barrington Countryside Fire Protection District and the Wakanda Fire Department for their participation in the July 4th LDS parade. They had equipment for both. I think the sheriff's department was busy that day, so fortunately understandable. And just kind of activity-wise, what kind of fire department, their emergency and rescue calls are up 22% year-to-date. So, and their overall calls are up 20%. So you get a lot of activity at both the Wakanda and the Barrington Countryside Fire Protection District, and we're grateful for the services that they provide as well. That's my report.
Questions for Trustee Jim? Okay. Agenda item 13, there is no other business. Oh, thank you. It's on the next page. 12G, there is a special list. Thank you. Trustee Small.
Great, thank you. As you know, there's a concert on Thursday, July 21st. And Heavy Greens will be performing at 7 to 9. As well as on Thursday, August 18th, 7 to 9, Friar Farm. The band, Nothing Personal, will be performing. Both events, there's no cost to attend the event. All residents are encouraged to attend, bringing chairs, food, and drinks, blankets, shift the temperature drop. The barn stomp is scheduled for September 24th, 4 to 8. Carolyn, Lisa, and I will be scheduling the planning meeting over the next several days, and August 1st and 2nd, to go over the logistics. Veterans Affairs, additionally, I will be attending the Barrington Park District board meeting on Tuesday the 19th. Former trustee Thompson recommended that I do that. It was an issue that he wanted to take hold. I'm interested in how we can collaborate with the other village events potentially, and I sort of put together a liaison between our board and theirs. Veteran Affairs, I attended the LDS Veterans Luncheon at Zaza's on Thursday the 7th. I was graciously hosted by Jim Thompson, who introduced me to senior leadership of the LDS Association. I pledged my unwavering support, the same intensity that Jim shared for the organization. That Bill Bishop, and I will be discussing privately how to continue on and collaborate with the same success that's been enjoyed all these years.
Perfect, thank you. There is no agenda item 13, no old business, no ordinances under 14, we handle 15A, no new business under 16, agenda item 17, second opportunity for the public to address the board. There was no member of the public in attendance. No closed session. Chair would like a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
By Hayes, may I have a second?
Second.
By Perkins.